Letter 28. Only sincerely believing in yourself will find you a way. It is impossible to find the best way to do anything. The best way to find the best idea is to have lots of ideas. December 4th, 1903. Dear John, I do not agree with your point of view of letting Roger take on the heavy responsibility and face the music alone. In fact, with regards to this, I have worked hard, but the result was quite disappointing. My principle of employing people is that those who are entrusted with important tasks are those who can find ways to do things better. But Rogers is obviously not qualified because he is a lazy person. Before I started working with Roger, I tested him with a question. I said, "Mr. Roger, what do you think the government can do to abolish all prisons in 30 years? He was confused when he heard it and suspected that he had heard it wrong. After a while of silence, he began to refute me. Dear Rockefeller, sir, do you mean to release all the murderers, robbers, and rapists? Do you know the consequences of doing this? If that's the case, we will not have peace. In any way, there must be a prison." I wanted to smash Roger's monolithic head, and I reminded him, "Roger, you only said the reasons why the prisons cannot be abolished. Now, try to believe that the prison can be abolished. Assuming it can be abolished, how should we proceed?" This is too hard for me, Mr. Rockefeller. I can't believe it, and it's hard for me to find a way to abolish it. This is Roger's method. No way. I cannot imagine how he will use all his talents to actively react when he is given a heavy responsibility, or when an opportunity or crisis hit. I do not trust Roger. He will only turn hope into hopelessness. Finding out a way to do things better is the guarantee of being able to complete anything. This does not require superhuman wisdom. The important thing is to believe that things can be done, and to have this belief. When we believe that something is impossible to do, our brain will find various reasons for us not to do it. However, when we really believe that something can be done, our brain will help us find various ways. Believing that something can be done will provide us with creative solutions and bring out our various creative abilities. On the contrary, not believing that things can be done successfully is tantamount to shutting down our wisdom and creative problem solving, which will not only hinder our creative ability, but will also destroy our ideals. The so-called aspirational element turns out to be the foundation of creation and achievement, but that is it. I hate my subordinate saying, "impossible." Impossible is a term for failure. Once a person is dominated by the idea of "it is impossible," he can produce a series of ideas to prove that he is right. Roger made this mistake. He is a traditional thinker, and his mind is numb. His reason is, this has been practiced for 100 years, so it must be a good way. It must be kept as it is, so why risk it? Change? In fact, it can often be achieved only through thinking about the reasons diligently. Ordinary people always hate progress. People believe that it is impossible to find the best way to do anything. The best way is to have as many creative ideas. Nothing grows on ice and snow. If we let traditional ideas freeze our hearts, new ideas will grow out of nowhere. Traditional ideas are the #1 enemy of creative planning. Traditional ideas will freeze our hearts and hinder us from developing the creative abilities we really need. Roger made such a mistake. Pi should be willing to accept all kinds of ideas and discard the dregs of thought such as unfeasible, unable, useless, that's stupid, etc. He should also have an experimental spirit to be brave enough to try new things, which will expand his abilities and prepare him for greater responsibilities. At the same time, he must take the initiative to move forward, instead of thinking, "This is usually the way I do this, so here I also want to use this method." But instead, think of, is there any way to do better than our usual method? It is impossible for various plans to achieve absolute perfection, which means that all things can be improved endlessly. I know this well, so I often look for better methods. I do not ask myself, "Can I do better?" I know I can do it, so I ask, "How can I do better?" The best way to find the perfect idea is to have many ideas. I will continue to set higher standards for myself and others, and constantly seek various ways to improve efficiency, get more rewards at a lower cost, and do more things with less energy, because I know that the greatest success is those who have the attitude that I can do things better. To develop an attitude that I can do better, we need to cultivate and to reflect every day. How can I do better today? How can I motivate employees today? What special services can I provide for the company? How can I make my work more efficient? This exercise is simple, but very useful. You can try it. I believe you will find countless creative ways to win greater success. Our mentality determines our ability. If we think we can do this much, we can really do that much. If we truly believe that we can do more, we can think creatively about various methods. It is very stupid to refuse new challenges. We have to focus on how we can do more. In this way, many creative answers will come unexpectedly. For example, to improve the current work plan, to deal with routine work shortcuts, or to accomplish trivial matters. In other words, most of the methods that enable us to do more will appear at this time. John, you can talk to Roger. I hope he can change. It is then he will have a better life. Love, your father.